Hello and welcome to this YouTube channel. For today, we are going to be discussing the key differences between bolts and welds. As you already know, bolts and welds are two ways that you can connect members together. So, we are going to be looking at the differences in different aspects. The first aspect we'll be looking at is the connection type, the removability, the installation, strength, effect on material, inspection, construction speed, cost, what is best used for, appearance. Okay, so the first one on our list is the connection type. So both connections are basically mechanical connection using bolts, nuts, and washers, while the weld connection is a permanent connection by fusing the metal or metals using heat. So basically the bolt connection are mechanical fasteners, while weld connection are permanent joints. Okay, so the next one is removability. The removability for bolts can they are removable and reusable, meaning that you can easily remove them and reuse them in another structure or another location as it pleases the engineer or the person working on the structure. While for welds are permanent, they cannot be removed without cutting or damaging the members. Let's go to the third aspect, which is the installation. For both connections, the installation requires drilling of holes and tightening with simple tools. While for weld, it requires welding, equipment, and skilled labor. You need a very skilled labor, especially for a welder, to be able to undergo the welding. Let's go to strength. For structures with both connections, they have good strength but may loosen under vibration or impact. They have good strength, but if faced with a tough vibration or impact, they may loosen. Whereas for welding, joints that are welded are generally stronger and are more rigid. They're generally stronger and are a more rigid connection, meaning, meaning that it is not as easy to loosen it when compared to bolt connection. Okay, so the next one is effect on material. Effect of bolted connections on material. For bolt connections, the drilled holes reduce the net cross section slightly. The drilled holes reduce the net cross section slightly. As you can imagine, whenever there are holes in a steel material, the holes definitely will reduce the net cross section of that material because no matter how little it is, it has taken up a space. It shortens the material by slight, very slight margins. Okay, while for the welding joints, the heat from welding may change the material properties near the weld zone. Okay, so let's go to the next one for inspection. Easy visual inspection of bolts and nuts. So it's easier to inspect bolts and nuts for both connections. While for welded connections, it may require special inspection, NDT in bracket, like ultrasonic or radiography. So for welded joints, it may require special inspection, unlike that of the bolted connections. So let's look at the construction speed between bolted joints and the welded joints. For bolted joints, there is faster assembly on site. For joints, for connections that are going to be done using bolts, it's easier, it's faster to assembly on site. While for welded joints, it is slower due to the welding process and cooling time. After welding, definitely it's mandatory to allow the welded joints to cool off a bit, and it takes a little bit of time to do that. Okay, so the next one on our list is cost. For bolted joints, there is lower initial cost, bracket simple tools, low equipment cost. So on the overall, bolted joints are cheaper, to say the least. They are cheaper to carry out, while in welded joints, which are permanent joints, they have higher costs. They are more expensive than the bolted joints, because you're going to need skilled labor, you're going to need equipment, you're going to need consumables, the electrodes and other materials that are used. In total, will result to spending more money to do welded joints. So let's go to the next one. Best use for bolted bolts. Using bolts in connecting materials together are temporary or adjustable connections, easy dismantling structures. It means that they are temporary, they can be moved easily. They are adjustable and they are easy to dismantle. This is unlike the welded connections. The welded connections, which are basically permanent structures where high strength and rigidity are required. Okay, so if we want to use a welded joint, it is best used where they are permanent structures, where high strength and rigidity are required. Whereas where you want to use bolts for a connection, it is best used for temporary adjustable connections, structures that are easy to dismantle in case you want to easily move it from one place to another. It is best used. Bolts are best used for that particular instance. Okay, let's go to the last one, which is the appearance. The appearance, if you use bolts for a particular connection, the appearance, there are visible nuts and bolt heads. You see visibly nuts and bolt heads that are used for the connection. While for welding joints, it is smooth, it is continuous joint with no visible fasteners. You don't see any bolts and nuts for welded connections, welded joints. You only see smooth, continuous joint with no visible fasteners. Okay, so that'll be all for today. Thank you for watching. See you in the next class. For those who haven't subscribed, kindly do so that you get the information as we analyze them on a daily basis. Thank you.